How are you?
Good, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Bring a gun or you got a vest? Both. A gun and a vest? Brought my old one. This one, my old one.
not gonna go and get it, so. She was laying on the couch, I think she's gonna take a nap, and my phone, I know, was in the other room, so.
Sounds real good.
I turned the Class B games on, so she could.
That's right.
They started at 1. I don't know who was playing, but.
Is Kinder playing right away?
Yeah.
That'd be a good game to watch.
Bowman County?
Gold Valley?
Bowman County?
Bowman County.
That must be everybody else
What's that?
west there, huh?
That thing not working, Emily?
I don't know yet.
I hope so.
I was trying to log in.
Syphilis. Prices still went down 8% the other day.
Here they got it, bought all mine already. I did hear that.
Yeah.
Good.
Just that one company though.
Metal sales?
Good afternoon, Charlie.
Afternoon, guys.
What about lumber?
Yeah, for all day.
Good, kind of steady out, didn't it? Last fall. Lumber's been up for a long time.
For one board.
Did you Google the,
2x6? So 2x4 by 20.
yeah, did you Google the
Was it
OSB?
No,
Are you
I
going-
can't look anymore. $25, 25.50.
40, last time I looked it was 46 from Menards. We were about 50 cents higher than that.
It used to be $2.50.
You should have your crews in the winter go tear down those buildings and can reclaim all
Hi,
that.
how are you?
Good, can I sit in today?
Yeah, hope I
Yeah,
did.
perfect, I just thought I better check, thanks.
That's ridiculous.
So there's that and then fuel too, like,
Yeah, they're all starting their fuel surcharges
yeah,
again.
I seen that.
Well, the guy had, a while ago had a 3/4, 4x8 sheet of 3/4 inch plywood, good on both sides. And, boy, heck, that was a spring, that was $75. And he had it cut in half. But it was $75, and I thought, holy crap. Here I've had a project on it, so now I'm gonna have to go start scabbing smoking wood.
There you go.
Gee,
But it's like they used to do. Somebody tear down a granary and just
Yeah.
repurpose it.
That's 3/4 inch AB sanded on both sides. You're looking over 100 now.
159?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just a regular 3/4 CDX is probably 72, 74.
Is there or is it shortage? I saw a train yesterday and I think it was so. That was. You're gonna.
Yeah, they did that last year.
didn't you see how that guy, they parked over the top of his tank at the gas station?
Okay.
And took the cover off and pumped it into his vehicle.
Yeah.
1,000 gallons. I don't know how he got it. It was an SUV.
It was a few times, but it's not.
Oh,
We'll call the meeting to order here of the Steele County Commission on March 17th at 2:00. Agenda for today is HR, organization, and then regulator for emergency.
Nope, that was the request Ted had to put on the agenda, the emergency road service for the whole ambulance being stuck.
Okay. And we'll do that later then, or whatever.
it was just a question that was brought up, so I was gonna.
Okay. So, move on to, HR organization. a meeting Brandon and I did with, Simon Euchre out of North Risk Partners out of Fargo on doing our HR and stuff. We visited with him and stuff and everything for an hour and a half or so that last Wednesday and stuff. We come up with some good ideas for us and stuff, and Brandon has been talking with the HR person in Bismarck and stuff. And he gives some ideas and some ways to go on our HR business. If we go with this North Risk Partners out of Fargo, we have to sign a contract with them and stuff first. And then if we allocate so much money for the program, then they'll figure out the program and then they'll have so many hours for that part of it. And then before they do any more, then they will have to get paid more money to move on with their project and stuff. And right now, I'll turn it over to Brandon here.
An idea, see what other commissioners think here of the process here. We would form an HR committee with 3 county employees. 1 employee being the state's attorney, and Ben and Jenny would also be part of that committee. What we're trying to do here is lay layers into this thing, so the problems get solved at department head level or committee first before they just jump over and come right to the commission. So what we would establish should be department heads having more responsibility in dealing with their departments. If they have issues, they can go to this committee. The committee can hold the voting power if they'd like to settle issues. If not, if it doesn't get settled there, we'll have 2 commissioners that are appointed to that committee. And then from there, if it needs to come to a board decision, it'll come to a board decision. Kind of thinking that around that realm. So
on the original
No.
committee then,
no,
only if they have to.
only for problems, or
Right.
should we bring this to the board for a vote, or can we push this back down and figure out this problem? Within that committee too, that's part of meeting with Dakota Risk Partners. That can be an avenue too for them to rely on. Having them too, they can, if you want to put some structure to that committee to start with, as far as bylaws, things like that. I don't foresee we should, and it's kind of molded so they'll be able to figure it out kind of as it goes. It's not going to be a straight roadmap how to get this done. Talking to Shannon, nothing in HR gets done. It takes about a year and a half to even get things started. So there would be some discussion between that committee to figure out kind of some of the gist of what they have to handle. But discussing, solving employee problems, policy discussion, going back to make that maybe work a little bit better for everybody. Obviously, the commission would be the sign off on any policy change or any movement there. Safety and training, employee coaching. That's where Shannon would come in good to help out the employees do that. Department head coaching, disgruntled employees, stuff like that. So I mean, there's a lot in there, and some of it's just going to have to get basically rolled out or hammered out as it kind of goes too. Still sticking with the auditor's office, the day-to-day stuff as the payroll, benefit management. As going through this transition, the auditor's office should be expected to help with the transition to move some of that stuff over and help that committee become or need whatever they need to keep working, keep things going.
New hires.
I want to get the department heads more involved in that. I think they should know how to do that paperwork. I think they should know how to do some of it. So basically, what we're trying to do here is create some structure, some accountability back from the department head level. So we're not constantly getting jump overs from employees to commission to back down. So it's 5 different people telling one person one thing. Get some consistency, and what it all comes back down to is maybe communication.
Just from the historical standpoint and food for thought, that many years ago, the commission approached my office about whether Steele could have an appointed county administrator that would effectively handle the HR aspects of the employees and departments. And that is an option. I'm not at all dismissing or diminishing the idea of a committee or he's throwing out other ideas for you. But for example, as Googled, so there's a statute specific in the county statutes that talks about a county administrator. And for example, Cass County has a county administrator. Summary of that department says the county administrator provides leadership and direction for the overall operations of Cass County. Appointed by the Cass County Board of Commissioners, the administrator serves as the chief staff person for the county commission and acts as liaison between the commission and county departments. The administrator, we would need that. Oversees human resources, public information, acts as a representative for the county for diversion related activities. We would need that. But so that's another potential option to have the administrator oversee HR and act as the liaison between employees and departments and the commission. And then obviously that person, and I'm not advocating this, I'm just saying, just using Brandon's own legwork, is that's whoever that would be, you could also work directly with human resource people that you guys are talking, Dakota Risk, that you said it was, for the more complicated HR. Yep. So basically it's almost the exact same as what you're saying with the committee, but
Just a one person. Yep.
And that's available. That's another available resource for them.
And like right now, we wouldn't be looking at, the employees would do it without any structure pay structure right now. So it'd be the employees and department heads would work together to get some of this moving and put in place. You know, that is another viable option too, though, of going down the road of a single person.
I don't see it being a full-time type position.
No.
It's just that one person that's demarcated or selected as the county administrator for those types, for HR issues and all. More simple. Cass has, their county administrator does. We don't see that.
Well, or else we can have this Shannon do it all.
He did say to us, he's got clients that do, can you help us? And he'll say yes, and he just takes over. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, it's just like I said, how much money, because it's gonna be all, I mean, I'm sure we could negotiate a contract. They would be willing to do that, it sounds
Yep.
like. So,
Did you talk to him about, what can be basic day-to-day type stuff that,
I mean, if
they
he's,
do, like, for example, say there's somebody thinks that someone's violating the dress code. Is that actually stuff that he wants to?
I don't think so, but
So a lot of those are issues that's an example of what seems to come up from time to time, that for whatever reason, there's other smaller matters that I don't see as major issues that seem to come up, raise their head on a daily or weekly basis. I doubt that that's the type of work or advice he's wanting to get.
no, but like I said, it's just like a private practice, you get, he's on the clock. So wanting if we decide to use him, that we're getting viable discussion through that to create something in the long term. So when we're all long gone, you can hand over a packet and say, this is kind of how we run HR. And then in turn, gives the auditor's office more time to work on auditor things, do her job with, reuniting kind of the courthouse in general is what we're trying to do here. Because us commissioners cannot run this courthouse effectively, not being here every day and not knowing all these little issues. And then, like I said, you get 5 of us, employee calls, we need to reset the chain of command. The commission, this has to be on that page, that if we do get phone calls from employees, you send them back to the person they need to go talk to. Because we have other things that we need to be focusing on than simple things like going back to dress code things and having an hour or 2 hour meeting on it. We're not doing that no more. So that's why we're here. So,
Because everybody wants to be in charge. They want to change it to work for them, whoever. Everybody's got their own opinion how things should be done, and that's it should be up to the commission to tell them. This is our personnel file. How many times have we changed our personnel file in the last 2 years? Quite a few. Just because it betters somebody else. They didn't like the way that worked, so they had to change it. No, sorry. It's not my opinion.
We're not doing this as commissioners. We're doing this as a county. We're trying to work this county together. And we're trying to do this for the betterment of the county.
How many
This
years?
reflects back on everybody here, commissioner wise, everything. And stuff, employees, everything else. This all comes back to the county. The biggest part of
6 months, they'll be changing it again.
it. Sure, it's nice you can get on your laptop and send an email, with a person that's 5 feet away. Why can't you jump out of your seat, go knock on that door and talk to that person and say, let's figure this out. Let's get this done. This is BS. We just got to decide as the commissioners, the force of the courthouse here on how to move forward.
Yep.
And we don't want to be called. Like as Shannon said from North Risk Partners, you guys shouldn't be sitting there for 2 hours on trying to figure out some HR BS going on in the courthouse. That's why your department heads there need to step up to the plate and get it worked out. And you got all your policies, you got everything. You want a policy change? We'll have a policy change date and we'll go from there and we'll decide on that.
The structure's there, the policies are there. There's a policy for changing the policies. The past couple of years, by taking those calls and allowing those things out of sync with the policy manual is what's created this monster.
No, it's way more than that.
Let's stick to what we're talking about here. So what I would like is some ideas from the commissioners of what you think. There's a lot of options to the same, whether we move with the appointed, like Charlie said, or we could just say, well, if it's not a policy or fiduciary issue, don't bring it to us. Because that's our job, literally, is to do that for the county. So that's the couple options we do have. But that's not the route I want to go. It's just throw up my hands and say I don't think that's correct either. So
So how do we want to move forward with this? We want county administrator? Do we want this office out of Fargo to run this, or do we want to give this a try out of the State Department, what they recommended for us to do, or we're open for discussion? And this is a place that's going to get done.
Brandon, can I ask, if we don't want to talk about it public, that's fine, but do you, the contact person, the person that you were talking about?
Yep. He's Chuck.
North Coast Issues and Mailings?
Yep.
What's his last name?
Porter,
Corbett?
Horter, Horter.
And he'd be another contact too that would be
We could rely back on.
Let's check. I work with him all the time. They also do the free training and development for county officials. There was supervisor webinar for an hour and a half continuing credit this week. Very good webinar.
Do you do those?
I do. I have over 100 hours as of last October. I would recommend that everybody does them.
How effective they are. But here's my thought. I don't feel like you guys can just hang on to the status quo. I just
that.
I'm probably more updated than you really believe. That's no reason for you and I to have an argument. I think you're spinning it a little bit to make it look as though you're the one that decided that your office wouldn't do the HR duties, and that's not what happened, is that they were taken away
Ted?
from you. So
Did we have a conversation before any of that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you.
you had the conversation, it doesn't mean you voluntarily get it, but in any event.
Anyways, we don't need to argue about that. Let's just move on and try to figure out a solution.
Yeah, there is a HR conference in Bismarck on April 20th and 21st and stuff, for people to go to and everything else and stuff. So do we want to send the department heads out there to take this in?
Well, first, I think we need to figure out what we're gonna, how we're gonna approach this going into.
Right.
Going in here, so.
So are you saying our consultant would either be this guy from Dakota or whatever,
Both of them.
Or-
Either
or both?
Yep, and then you'd have Charlie on there as legal. So. You kind of get a lot of different sources. Like I said, the other option is he can come in and he sits down with all the department heads, everybody in the courthouse, kind of gets the feel for it. And he still might do that. If they do decide to do that. The theory behind the 3-person committee, and I don't foresee them people staying on there all the time except the state's turn. And that can be figured out through that committee. They can
Well, if I might offer this, I'd like to volunteer, so to speak, to talk with Chuck Horder and talk with Shannon more about the committee plan and about whether they've counseled other counties, especially this Chuck has counseled other counties on similar things like this, whether they have any examples of how it's worked. And then I also talked with Shannon about at what level is it normal for
He normally said that clients take out, they order, it's gotta go in 4-hour blocks. So they just usually do a 4-hour block time.
I'm just wondering what level they normally get involved. So it's just.
That's what he said. They normally, if the first clients, they would say, yeah, we'll do a 4-hour block of time.
I'm asking.
He can get involved, like, in there, it says in the packet, they can do a whole sort of assessment thing. And
Yeah.
he says, normally what we do is we start with that block of time. You know, if I need to come into to there and do, digging deeper, then it's gonna be, more, but
And what he said in that packet that Wayne's looking at now is just the example of stuff. That is not the actual rates on it and stuff, so.
Did he say what an assessment would cost or kind of up in there? Don't know.
No,
he wouldn't give us really
no. What he was talking about was 4-hour blocks, like Evan said, so.
just a block, 4 blocks at a time.
But like Brandon said before too, it's he wanted to sit down with each department head and go over stuff with each one, and then after that, probably have a employee meeting. So this isn't gonna get solved today.
No,
It's
no,
gonna
no.
take,
Oh, that was one of his things. He says, even when I come in, it takes a year to, a year and a half to even get things to.
some of these problems are true.
But that's the whole thing here of starting to figure out this structure and then getting the commission all on board too. To defer employees back to the department heads or their point person.
And who have you all shared this outline with, Brandon?
Just the commission.
Well, if you guys don't mind, I would like to talk to those two people, just to get some more insight, some more thoughts. You guys have a problem with you reaching out to them?
No,
Go ahead.
It's a work in progress.
I mean, I get it, but I personally think we need to do something. We need to figure something out, the way this is gonna go. If the auditor's office is not wanting to do the HR anymore, we need to go somewhere. So not everybody's coming up here going, well, I don't know what to do, sort of thing.
Well, I guess as a temporary kind of solution would be to appoint this committee that you outlined in your guidance thing for the interim, since right now HR is kind of in limbo. we just keep working from there. But we wouldn't necessarily work exactly in these guidelines, but at least.
Well, and that's,
at least
I
employees
mean,
would know-
that's,
at least employees would know there's
None-
who to
none-
go to.
none of this, it's an idea. It can be worked and looked at however the commission would like to see it. So just remember that too. It's not like a set in stone thing. I'm just looking
We have to start somewhere.
to try to get this thing, because it's this whole thing in HR in general is gonna take everybody. I find it as a commissioner, that my time is getting spent on things that can get taken care of rather than the really important things we need to worry about as far as monetary things like that. That we need to guide this to something else so it can get taken care of.
And Ben and Jenny have never seen this, so they're first time hand of it now, and maybe they don't even wanna
That's another.
do the job.
That's very possible.
You know, so that's, you know, another thing we gotta look at too. We decided we'd keep it to ourselves first and then go from there. Stuff. So,
Do we have it broken out, what the auditor's duties and the HR duties are separated?
I think that's up for discussion.
Would he be assessing that?
Possibly, but I think that's gonna be internally worked out. You know, what fits with payroll, what fits with the benefit management,
I agree with internally. I mean, the more we can do internal, the better
the department.
for the cost.
Absolutely.
Not really cost, but there's no reason why we can't work it out together. If they can't work it out together, if none of us can work it out together, then somebody's gotta go. If the employee doesn't wanna work it out, they don't belong here.
And it's for everybody. There's no, this has to work for everybody. Because like I said, the other thing we can go back to is, you know, what we're doing now, or hire somebody else in, or we can figure it out.
I still would like to hire this Shannon just to come up and talk to each department head and go from there and then get everything explained to us at another meeting and try to figure out some of these internal problems that we have. That's my opinion. Hopefully you can put us on the straight and narrow toward the future.
I like that idea. I don't know what it's gonna cost. I don't wanna spend thousands and thousands of dollars and not gain anything. But we need to start somewhere. I don't know if I like this 3-person committee with employees. I don't know. I haven't said a lot because I don't know which way to go either. I trying to just listen to. Brandon spent a lot of time on this. I mean,
Yeah, it's.
There had to be some movement.
Well, we gotta
We gotta
fix,
go-
we
we
gotta
gotta
fix
start
this
this,
so we
yes.
can, so we can move on to other things. There's, you know, budgets coming back around. You know, another one of my goals is to maybe set some salary structure here so we can have something to go off of. I don't know if that's gonna be possible. That's something else I'd like to work on, but we need to get this focused, get our employees back working, doing what they need to do for the county. That's what we need. Because they're not doing all this creative bickering back and forth is doing nothing but disservicing the taxpayers. So that's why I went and we'll figure it out then. if that's what we need to do. This is one option. There can be 10 more if that's the case. But
Any ideas what assessment would cost us? No idea. If we call them and ask them, what do you think you'd give us kind of a, would $5,000 do an assessment?
I hope so. Yeah, sitting in on this meeting, do you have any ideas? You think this would work?
I didn't hear much of the first part of the meeting, so I don't know much about the structure you guys are talking about or anything like that, but I know something needs to change.
Well, should we have Charlie call Shannon and Chuck and maybe from that we can get some insight and maybe Brandon can call Shannon too and figure out, you know, how much we can get for dollar amount of hour blocks and move forward from there. I don't think we have enough information now to make a decision on which way to go. As far as hiring an administrator or as far as going with Shannon or going with this Chuck way and stuff.
And I don't see them as being all mutually exclusive, Russell. I mean, it could be, that there's, let's say we went with the committee. I think we'd still probably want risk partners as a consultant.
absolutely.
Right, yep.
Even if we went with an administrator, I think the administrator would want
Yeah,
them as a consultant.
absolutely.
And so those are open, and I just want to talk with Chuck to see if he's, you know, obviously he put some time, you guys put some time into this, and lots of good ideas in here, and I'm curious about whether he's actually experienced a working example. If he has, great, because that'll tell us how well it has or hasn't worked for other counties. Or maybe he made it unique to Steele, just, you know, with the information you get.
So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna call in then? Get an assessment price or rough idea or see what $5,000 will do or
When's your next meeting?
Yeah.
I'll volunteer to get a hold of both these guys and provide you guys with an update on the 5th and just keep this moving forward. You know, I think it's good that we hash some of these things out today, and I just think everybody that I talk to is optimistic that things are moving, that it's being addressed, put it that way, rather than just that's the feedback I'm getting.
So
We're at the 17th now, so we'd have a little over 2 weeks then.
was that conference is that in Bismarck, the 21st?
Yeah.
personally, I'm ready to move forward.
Well, I am too, but I
Something like
don't,
this.
I don't wanna say go and then get a bill for $10,000.
No, I'm not
No.
saying
Go with the
get
plan that you got here.
get the structure so that committee can get meeting effective immediately. They can start putting stuff together. In the meantime, we can talk to Dakota as partners, see what they're gonna be, you know, whether it's we just get 4 hours of block time, that's all, you know. And start moving forward, because that clears a lot of things up. We start working that. The auditor's office doesn't have to, everybody's coming up to Emily going, well, what do we do now? Well, they can get it figured out. And start some sort of structure to vet that out, because like I said, some of this isn't gonna be just writing on the wall. We're gonna have to work around some of this stuff and figure it out. But they can start.
I may be a little out of line, but I'm offering to help out. I'm kind of talking to Brand a little bit, whether you guys need help just until you get something in place, or if I need to go do some trainings. I'm willing to do something like that to help out, just to get something in place. I just think something needs to.
We waiting, and I'm not saying, like I said, this is, but what waiting is gonna leave us with instability here. Again, pushing it out another month or whatever, how many days. Because eventually we'll have to come back around to this same exact question.
Right.
I think it's a great interim idea. I mean, at the very least, it moves forward. It gives people something. And talking to Shannon, obviously, like you said, chances are he's gonna be involved, or you'll wanna go that route anyway. So I do think that's a great spot now. There are things that come up, and, you know, I haven't gotten an email answer or a phone call from any of you on any of them really, so it's a great point that at least there's somebody to go to for issues. People know who to reach out to. Because I don't know what to tell them. And you guys haven't given any direction on that, so I think it's a good idea.
The reason we haven't given anything, Emily, is because we don't know neither ourselves. And this is why we are reaching out to other people that know stuff, so that we can move forward with this.
Yeah.
We don't want to steer anybody in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
This is why we haven't.
Right, but I mean, just even that would have been something.
Yes, I know.
I don't
and
think,
stuff,
I
but
don't think we have not responded completely.
You got. Thank you.
I don't think I have. I mean, if I've been emailed, I've responded to some of them, and I don't agree with what you just said. I guess that's all I'm saying.
I've talked to commissioners, everything here and stuff, and reached out. One guy's got one idea, one guy's got another. I got another one. Which way do we go? What do we do? You
In the
know,
last couple months, I spent so much time working on this stuff. With not only my business during the day, but,
It's taking up a lot of time.
and I'm okay with it.
Yep.
And I'll take any phone call from any employee or anything.
100%.
I'll do my best to do what's the best for the county, but for you saying that we haven't done anything, I don't like that.
I was referring to the new hire coming in. When I reached out on what to do with them and I didn't get a response, you said, I'll send it to Reed, thank you. And
Yep.
then nobody showed up for the new hire, and that put that person in an awkward situation too. Reed
At the time it
wasn't
happened,
here.
nobody even knew what the heck to do.
Right, but simple asking me or asking somebody in my office. I did text Reed and tell him if he had questions to let me know, because it wasn't right that he was, that all of this situation. We honestly thought you or Russell were coming up here. Somebody was coming up here, or Ben. It's just the communication factor again.
I don't think help should have been refused though.
What,
I think that was a big issue.
what is the issue with a new hire? I don't get it. What happened?
Paperwork.
So I can't get done.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to call a point of order
Got a point of order called.
and that we get back on track to what we're discussing here.
Well, what should we do, commissioners?
I'll make a motion to,
Before you make that motion, I'm just gonna say one more thing. For me to make a decision on which route to go, there's so many unknowns here yet, though it's tough for me to make a decision. Whether it's the right way or not, that's my issue I got.
and it's the tough part.
It's very tough,
That's,
because I don't want to say, okay, we're going this route, and all of a sudden, boom, that really backfired.
because again,
Very much, yeah.
the other side of things is where we're at now.
It's not working.
It's not working.
So we have
So
nothing to.
I get that. What do we do? You know, how does this look? You know, Charlie brought up a good point today. That was, you know, maybe that's something we need to go down, look at. So I hear where you're coming from. I do.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Ted, Brian, what do you guys think?
I think we need to have more than we're getting right now. This is too quick. I think we need to talk about this some more, find out more variables of what's gonna cost.
I hate kicking it down the road anymore. I mean,
Yeah, I agree with you, but we don't know what it's gonna cost. Are we gonna spend $5,000? We don't know. It could be 10.
Could be 50.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Your department heads, is 2 more weeks gonna end this courthouse? The world's gonna blow up? If we can wait for Charlie to give us an answer on what we need to find out.
I think it makes sense to have someone as that point of contact, as departments head, we went to that, and we just get turned away. Because we don't know where to go.
I think a point of contact is needed. I will say time is not there. I mean, people shouldn't down the line and it's gonna end here soon. It's just, it can't keep going. Like, we're the ones living this every day. So, you know.
Well, I'm not saying it's not gonna go. I'm just saying I wanna know, like Richard does, are we gonna get caught in the long run with a big bill that
Doesn't help us. I mean,
Yeah.
if it helps us, I mean,
We're
we're a small county too. We can only afford so much.
The bill would only come as how much you use them to. You know,
So I get
so I
that.
mean, if
But
I don't want it to turn it, I can't foresee it being with, you know.
is it 5,000 or 50,000? That's
Well, and I don't know if there's for that, it could be that way.
I mean,
It could
if
be.
5,000 is gonna give us an assessment and try to see what's going on, I'm great. I'll sign up for
But
it.
also being basically on retainer.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think we're gonna need it.
that's what he's there for, that if there is a challenging question or something, the phone call him on, you can still do, you know, to call Charlie. Just having the sources built around that too might help with the total situation.
You know, like our policy manual, is our policy manual that far out that it's?
Absolutely not. We just did an update. We just spent $3,000 doing an update on it. But what I was just gonna say is, it's not like we're an infant company that has no clue how to operate.
Well, it sure feels like that right now.
It should, but we aren't. And our policy manual, there's a few minor changes that we're talking about making based upon precedents, which we're working on.
Are we having, no, so no, it's point of contact you want. Are we having issues right now? Are we having issues right now? Give me an issue. What kind of issue are we having?
A lot of the issues have resolved since, last couple weeks.
So to move this along, I'd be willing to be a point of contact for department heads and employees through your next meeting on whatever HR issues might come up. Okay, I don't know what they are. You point me as a temporary HR administrator. With the understanding that on this first page of Brandon's guidance is that the auditor's office continues with all of those duties, because I have seen there's nobody else that can do those. Those are just standard.
Can I get a copy of those?
It's in payroll, benefit management.
Okay.
All that stuff.
I don't have that paper, so just so I'm on
You
the
know,
same
there's
page.
no way I can do any of that stuff.
Right.
But if you don't want to sit here in limbo, I'll be the point of contact.
Well,
for
that's what
HR.
I'm saying. If you could be that contact, I think we're all in agreement that we want to check with this Dakota risk guy. We just don't know how much that we want to. Is a assessment going to be done in a 4-hour block? No.
No.
So is it going to be 5 4-hour blocks? Is it going to be, that's what we need to know.
Right. So what I would do, if you guys want to do that, find me a temporary HR administrator, then I'll take on the responsibility of getting hold of Shannon and getting hold of Holter or North Dakota Association of Counties to get more info to provide to you. And in the meantime, until your next meeting, I'll be the point of contact for HR issues and people, if anything comes up. And if it does, we'll make some decisions and we'll go from there, but I can't foresee in 2 weeks if there's gonna be any major HR issues.
Well, one 4-hour block might be $1,000.
Wait, I'll ask. What's your best call and what do you think we should do? What would be, how would you best serve Steele County under these circumstances?
So I cut you off. You were about to make a motion. Do you still want to make that motion?
Yeah, that's one question. That's confusing for me. It's easy question, I'm sure. You guys say Dakota risk and everything here is North risk? North risk partners. I mean.
No, whatever. I
Okay,
don't know.
I've been here Dakota too, so that was what, so North risk is not Dakota.
I have no idea what
That's
it's
all, thank
called.
you.
In my mind, for department heads, I can't speak for every department head, but having Charlie as a point of contact is somebody we can go to in confidence and our issues and deal with them on a reasonable level. I think it would be for an interim purpose. That's the element, right?
Well, that would give him time to ask this guy, how much time would he need to do a risk assessment? How much it would cost? What if we used them? What would we get for 4 or 5 4-hour blocks, for the next 5 months, or, just start the wheels in motion. And maybe it comes down to, we do have a committee and we don't need him anymore after we get it started.
That's very possible.
I mean, starting right there is, with Charlie is what I want to do.
I would,
But I also want this guy involved. Yeah. So.
I would make that motion, but Brandon, if you were going to make.
Go ahead.
Okay, I would make that motion that Charlie is point of contact. And that he'll reach out to the North Risk Partners.
And do this Chuck Holter at the state. And then we will,
Chuck Horder.
and then,
Association of Counties.
yep, and then we will have a report back on April 5th, our next meeting.
But then also, this conference in Bismarck. Is there a deadline to sign up for that? Do you know that, Emily?
I
Do you want to do that separate? I'll second your first motion.
Okay. Okay, so I made that motion also and Brian seconded the motion.
So all those in favor of our motion? Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Or should we do a roll call vote? Okay, roll call vote. Richard?
Yes.
Ted?
Yes.
Brandon?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Russell, yes.
There's no deadline. It just says registration is open.
Well, I think,
How many usually go?
Chuck Horter will be leading another gal at conference.
Is that on the North Dakota Association of Counties website or what's that?
HR Collaborative, North Dakota HR Collaborative.
so the 2 8-hour classes or training days?
It's 2 days, right?
2 days, 15 breakout sessions.
How many usually go, Emily?
So you can send as many as you
Has
want.
it, has
but-
anybody been out there from Steele County for that?
Yes. Like I said in my email, I've gone before, Amy's gone before. There's different topics every year. It's a yearly conference that they have. It's not always in Bismarck. It's been in Devil's Lake, Fargo. They rotate it.
Well, it was maybe something that our department heads should also go to maybe. We probably could decide that at our next meeting.
All ride in the same van?
What are the dates on that one?
20th and
21st.
21st.
20th and 21st?
I will already be down Bismarck the 21st and 22nd for a conference.
When I have the trial. Yeah,
We're having some,
How much is it,
yeah, I know, but
yeah,
the conference?
200 and something.
Per person?
County pays it.
200?
Early registrations.
$200.
I would maybe be interested, oh, I'd be interested possibly going to.
So if there's 3, it's all right, because all she has to do is put it there that we're,
We
There.
couldn't,
200
couldn't
per
do it, 'cause then
person
we'd have to
for
record it.
pre-registration.
huh?
We couldn't have 3.
Shouldn't have, you
We
know.
recorded.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say department heads, you check your schedules and if you can go,
Let us
sign
know.
up early and go.
do you know if that's like the breakout sessions you can choose, kind of how,
Their whole agenda is listed, I believe.
so I was gonna say I could jump back and forth between my conferences and the first two.
that would be very good multitasking, but.
Well, thanks, Charlie. So you're like cinnamon rolls next week.
I didn't even have the day for. St. Patrick.
Okay, anything else on HR before we move on?
Thanks for your input, girls.
Thank you. Thank you. Other thing is the emergency road service, Hope Ambulance.
Yep. Ambulance went out, I thought they said, they took Buck to the hospital one night, got up by the bridge by Jerry Bisbee's on 5. They must have got through it, but it wasn't good. They got through it, and then Scott went out and, but anyway, they called, Kyle Zerfus is on the fire department. Anyway, he called Reed and told Reed to get a truck down there and get it cleaned out, and it was storming. Reed said, I'm not. So then they were giving me hell about that. And I said, hey, that's up to him.
Right.
But anyway, Scott went out and cleaned it out. So I said, okay, and maybe we should compensate Scott. Well, the whole city, they already always pay us money anyway for us doing stuff down there. And so why couldn't they go out? But I don't know if you'd get Marv to go out there.
So what it was storming that night, it was pretty bad. Hope after called me and said, we made it through that drift at that bridge, really good bridge.
Yeah.
But we don't know if we'll make it back. It was crappy. I had to go over to Mayo for something else, somebody over there, it was bad. It was not late, it was 8 to 7:30, 8.
Oh.
I called Kyle to see if he was around, if he could go out there, and ended up getting hold of Tony Richards. Tony was on the way back from Fargo, so if he makes it back, he will. So he did, he said he'll take care of it. And he said he could take care of that, and he would wait there and make sure that nobody went through in between if it was really bad. And if he had to, if he couldn't get it clean, he would bring them around the back way, which is only cutting around that, that section.
Scott went out with the
So,
plow.
and I think, yeah, somebody else went out there. I don't know who it was.
Scott
They
did.
took care of it.
Took it, he's got a plow in his pickup. So he ran out there.
Yeah,
Opened it up.
so you open it up for them, they all talk together, so, yeah.
Which I have no problem. I mean, if that's the case, to get Marv to go out and do it, I don't know if you'd
And
get
once
him.
again, we had two crashes on that bridge, the next time it's storm as well. They packed on top of each other, couldn't get through it. But that's the bridge you're gonna work on, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
So next year we shouldn't have as much problem.
Well, we hope.
Because you're taking, it's not gonna be a bridge, it's gonna be culverts. That's the same one we got. right?
Yep, it is.
Yep.
Yep. So that should help.
It won't blow in, it's bad.
It's not unusual, we've done that before, we've had to have farmers go up there and blow for us before, because we couldn't get through, because we didn't have any trucks available. So,
John Nelson was giving me a bad time about it. And
Yeah.
I said, well, John, they don't have you at the county shop anymore.
and yeah, we were out that day at 5 o'clock.
He went out there one night though. He did take them all the way to the county line.
Oh, absolutely, I've had them.
This has been many years ago.
I've had them here too, all the way to the hospital.
Well, the state would used to do it here too, and they were in town.
They would if they were.
Right, yeah.
But I've had George had this, or had the, what was it, George, it was Mike at the time, we had him run the city truck all the way to the hospital. But just move around like.
It's just, you know,
There's just nobody around there that can do that thing.
when he was right half a block from the shop. So I
Right.
mean,
So
he was the first one to get called, but I just said if, as a gesture wise, if they wanted to give Scott something, that if we did that, I didn't know if we did or not, but just something maybe it'll never happen again.
Also, people just do it 'cause they want
Yeah,
their-
absolutely.
Hopefully after we fix the bridge, they won't have those guardrails on the side that block the snow too, so.
We used to have Keith Winterstrom lived only half a mile from there, but or 3/4, but
Yeah.
he's not there anymore.
Well, it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen.
It
Right in the
is.
middle of the snow.
It's gonna happen again.
It
It'll
will.
happen.
That's when stuff
Not this
goes.
year, though.
Probably.
No,
That's when stuff goes.
Maybe not there though, but different places, it's happened other places.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It has.
We're done this year.
And I've never had anybody deny me if it's get a fire truck or that, myself, if they get it done.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
They know they just gotta get it done.
Moving on, we have a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
I'll second.
all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Ted and Brandon, can you stop in the auditor's office and see Carly before you go?
Yep. Jen Flayton.
Okay, you got something, okay?
Be my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Same as the city.
Huh?
You know what I need for the city?
I don't, haven't looked up who voted
I would
for
say
you
that
in
was
that
4
one.
or 5.
Probably not many.
Did you,
Get about 10 or 12.
did you get my stuff printed off?
Yeah,
Oh,